So the first update for the trailer, I just finished installing all the outside stuff, so I got some hooks here and there for maybe like a hanging table or something like that. And then this one right here for hammocks. Installed the lights. So this one's like 3000 lumens. It's amber because it has less bugs. And it's right in the middle, so that way it'll illuminate this whole area. Got a motion detecting light right above the door. An extra bar lock, so I can't get locked in. Haven't put the windows up. I'm gonna do that after I do the installation. So those holes aren't in there, but any holes in the siding I've already done. There's not a floor at the moment because these are drying out. They're pressure treated and they got wet. This is how I'm holding up the hammock mount. Is 3 of the screws went directly into the stud, and then 1 went into this wood, and I just shaved off the end so that way it doesn't poke stuff or poke me. Got a vent down there, another vent, my tank fill, city water inlet, and the window framing. So the windows are basically clamped down. So this is for the window to clamp down onto, and I'll do the holes later. Got a vent there. It's not really for anything, just so that way the garage doesn't get weird pressure, because this right here will have a wall mounted to this stud that separates the back is the garage, so the ramp can be my porch. Yeah, I got the vent up there installed. This is the cable from my signal booster. My backup camera, got holes right there for the solar. I just put some butyl tape around the edges so that way wires wouldn't scratch at all. I'll see how that holds up. Got, that's how I mounted the bar lock, so that's pretty secure. So I had to screw in there, and then screwed in here, and I cut off the ends of the screws so that way it wouldn't poke. And I just coated all this kind of stuff in a borate solution, trying to prevent the old camper smell. Don't want anything like rotting in the walls or whatever. This is how I mounted the lights, so that way the screws had something to bite onto. There's the cable for that. Cable for lights. This is my emergency escape. So if the trailer's on its side and this door right here, let me back up, and this door is blocked, then I can get out through here, and that opens right up. I'll have solar panels above that, so I'll probably have a hammer or something here. I don't know. I'll figure something out. But it's only for emergencies, so if I'm going through this hole, something's seriously wrong, so I don't really care. Here's the cable for a camera. Possibly I might have a splitter right here, so I can have a little security camera screen right here, and then the other wire will go into the truck, so that way I have basically side mirrors. So this camera will basically act as a side mirror. Got my Maxxair fan. It's just exhaust, 4-speed, manual everything. I kind of thought it came with a remote. I guess I was wrong on that. I'll probably wire it up so that way I can turn it on from over there. I don't know what I'll do with that, but I definitely, not having the remote is going to be annoying. And then I installed this right here so that way the undermount gray tank fits snugly, because I've got one that'll fit right here. And that's really screwed in there. It's got those Simpson strong ties or whatever. And then the appropriate screws for biting into wood and then biting into metal. And then that gray stuff is Loctite construction adhesive that I put on, as you can see, pretty much everything. That's what's holding everything together at the moment, is that stuff. It's like PL something max, very strong stuff. That's what I use to secure, even like you can see it come out of here. I put anywhere where two surfaces were going to be touching and I didn't want them to be rubbing and I wanted them to be secure is where I put that. And still gotta, I'm gonna saw the ends of these screws off before I put this in. And I'm gonna be securing the foam board. It's the purple XPS stuff with this adhesive and this tape. See how that goes, how that holds. Oh, and you might be wondering why the spray paint is so messy. So the trailer was sold to me with a bare unpainted frame, which is kind of insane. Yeah, there's the outside of the water fill and then the little vent so that way the garage pressure doesn't get weird when I close the ramp. And there's my signal booster. Another light. Put the spare tire mount right here. I figured that's probably best for weight distribution instead of having it way up here, because I am towing with a Tacoma, so I got to keep the weight down. Got my weight distribution hitch installed here. It just doesn't have the bar on it right now. Don't buy from Anvil Trailer if you're looking for a trailer, because yeah, this thing needed a lot of work. Like all of this was just pure rust after a year of owning it and not doing anything. Actually, not even a year. Yeah, so in all this along here, I still need to repaint a lot of stuff in here because you can see where it's still rusting. But a ton of rust, total rust bucket, and it was really deceptive. They had the walls. So they painted, so this part came painted. I mean, not the tops of it. I had to get in there, sand that down and paint it because there was galvanic corrosion between the aluminum roof and the steel beams, which were unpainted on top, which is just insane to me that they would do that. Galvanic corrosion is not a complicated concept. So yeah, I had to paint all of this, and then that's why the bottom is gray, is because I just sprayed rust preventative all along the bottom to fill in any cracks. I used filler primer. I used filler primer for the crappy welds like here, so that way the paint would adhere and wouldn't flake. And for the rest of the bare steel, I used self-etching primer after sanding and wiping with acetone. And I keep forgetting I cannot walk on these because they're not tubes. It's like a C shape. And so I plan on having the toilet, shower, and stove all right here, which is why the vent is in the front. And I'm hoping that, being at the very front, will pull all the air from these windows and really circulate it through the trailer. And in case you're wondering, yeah, I did. I got a $1,200 refund because I had to paint this myself. So the total cost of the trailer was initially $7,000, but I got that $1,200 refund because the supplies to fix all that was about $500, and I figured extra for my time and the trouble that it took me. Well, I will see you in the next update after I get all the insulation and the windows in.